Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you doing today? How's life in your world and how's things where you are? Let me know in the comments. You know I love hearing from you. Alright, I hope you do. If you're new here and you weren't aware, I love hearing from you. So introduce yourself in the comments and tell me how your day is going, because it really means a lot to me to hear back from the people who bother to come here and see what I'm up to. I'm not up to much exciting lately. I've been working on this table, this desk build for quite a while, and I'm getting close to finalizing that project. And then next week I will be in Indianapolis at Gen Con, and I'm really excited about that. I hope to do a couple of review videos before I leave for Gen Con so that I have some stuff ready to go on the gaming channel. I'm trying to piece together a set. I don't want to do it here at this table, so I'm trying to piece something together. Hopefully that'll all come together this week, and then I can do a couple videos so that I can have some stuff to show people at Gen Con, like, hey, I'm doing reviews now, go check out my channel. We'll see. I hope that picks up. I have fun making those videos. I have fun talking about my feelings, and I think the thing that's always held me back from doing reviews is that I struggle with the idea of being critical, especially of somebody else's art. But there's a need for that in the review circles. And years ago, I talked about doing kind of a reviewing the bad games, intentionally bad games, and being super critical, but using like either cartoons or like cut out puppets or something where I could really just say really bad things about games that I guess deserve it, but also I could say it about things that, you know, I just don't enjoy, but go over the top with the parody of it. And I thought it would be a lot of fun, but it proved to be something that I'm not mean-hearted at, I'm not mean-spirited at heart, and so I didn't want it to come across that way. If I'm critical of a thing, whether it's a game or art or a movie or a person or a book or whatever, I try to present my criticisms in a valid and educated and researched way. I don't want to just say, you know, even jokingly say just really hurtful things, because that's not productive to anybody. But we all know, we've all played games. There are publishers who produce really bad products, and I would say that every publisher has produced at least one bad product. And, you know, you'll have to wonder, at what point does this publisher say, well, maybe we shouldn't make this? I think that there are quite a few who could pump the brakes a little bit and say, whoa, 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 whoa. But then again, I mean, if you walk down the game aisle at Walmart and Target, I would argue that most of the games in those aisles, the publisher should not have published because they're bad games. But they'll make that publisher a ridiculous amount of money because the general populace does not know what a good game is versus what a bad game is. It's just a game. And I think there's something to be said for that. I think that the general population would buy a game because of the social aspect versus the game. So they want to have fun with their friends or their family, and they'll buy games that do that. And they don't care if the game sucks. It doesn't matter as long as the experience is okay. Whereas gamers, the people that attend these conventions and support the board gaming hobby, they're going to be the people who are more critical of quote-unquote bad design. I'll give you an example. 2012, 2012 I signed the contract. 2012 my game came out. Scallywags came out in 2012, 7 years ago. Jeez. And it had an end game that was a little bit clunky, and the publisher wanted to fix it. And so they came up with a fix, which was essentially there's these cards that you play to distribute some coins. And if you don't have a card in your hand that can play, their rule was to just draw a card. That's your turn. You just get to do nothing. And I thought, that's really bad. Like, as a game designer, that just feels wrong. My version was, I think that if you couldn't if you couldn't fulfill any of the cards in your hand the way that they were intended, then you could treat certain aspects of the game as invalid, and then these cards would be useful. And they were like, no, we don't like that either. And so then my solution was, okay, so discard your hand and draw a new hand of cards, and if any of those play, then you can play. If not, then you forfeit your turn. And they were like, nah, we don't like that either. We're just going to have them draw a card. That's it. And it was just like, ew. But you know how many complaints we got about that? 0. Nobody. Like, the people who bought the game loved it, and that was that, and they moved on. Because that's not why they buy the game, to have this perfect, clean design or whatever. So the point is, I don't want to be critical just because, right? And I think that was what was holding me back from doing that series of these like kind of hypercritical, but in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way, but kind of nod, wink, wink. You know what I mean? And I couldn't do that sort of thing as being a public face of Portal Games, but I'm not a public face of Portal Games anymore. People associate me with Portal Games, but not the general, board game audience does not know that I've ever been a part of that. So I can get away with being a little more critical now and say what's on my mind. So hopefully people will come along for that adventure. It's going to be fun. And by the way, next week will be a Gen Con. I will not be doing videos next week. I might, in years past, I've done some little snippets, and I might do that, but I'm not going to be doing episodes. So it's my week off once a year. I take a week off, and that's next week. So if you have any ideas for this week, or if you want to talk about what I'm going to be doing at Gen Con, or you want to yell at me about something I should go see at Gen Con, please do that in the comments, and I'll try to do what I can. So thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from Olympic.org. What year was curling introduced to the Olympics? Men's curling was included in the Olympic program in 1924 at the first Olympic Winter Games in Chamonix? I don't know. It was then dropped and later reintroduced as a demonstration sport in 1932 at Lake Placid.